This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we talk about the expectations of being an online coach, how to do testing with zero budget, and how many mugs is too many.
3, 2, 1, Trump is back.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Dan Meek.
And me, Mr. Muscle.
I was just about to say that is the incorrect mug for you, isn't it? Mr. Muscle? Jesus Christ. I tell you what, I do like Mr. Men, but I'm quite worried and concerned that there's probably no more Mr. Men because we can't say it anymore because of gender shit and stuff we're allowed to not say.
I think there is,
surely it's just
there is.
Surely it can't be Mr. Men, it's just like what would you call it? They thems?
The they thems. I mean, this guy's got is like Synthol, whatever it is.
Well, yeah, he's that guy who injected, isn't he? But
yeah,
I'm partly glad that Trump's back in because at least he's said that there's only two genders. Fucking hell.
He's more entertaining, but unfortunately, his entertaining disrupts the world.
It does disrupt the world, doesn't it? He's a disruptor. That's one thing. It's funny actually. I was talking about him today. I nearly posted about it on Instagram, but I just don't know if politics is you. I just don't think anyone wins from talking about it. So I'll talk about it on our podcast because who gives a fuck? Because you can't come back at me. Was this point about in this day and age, the thing I don't like about politics and about the way that people view it all is that you can't agree with one of someone's points and not get labeled as you love them or you're a supporter. It's like I can like some of Trump's policies and some of Trump's ideas, but I don't have to like him as a person. Do you know? I don't have to be a supporter. I can just go, oh, that makes sense. What he said makes sense. For example, there are only two genders. Makes sense. Love that. I'm all on board with that, right? And come at me all you want. And it's just this thing about, but it doesn't mean I support Trump. It doesn't mean that I'm going to vote for him or that I'm going to send him money. It's just a fact that and just in the same way that there are some people who are more left that I sit there and go, yeah, good point. Yeah, good point you make. Doesn't mean that I'm an avid supporter. But it just seems like these days in politics, you can't say, oh, I quite like his view on that because you just get attacked as oh my God, you're a Trump supporter. No, I like what he said about that. That's one thing. I don't like what he said about the other 20 things, but I just didn't say that because it didn't come up in conversation.
You've gone very heavy, very early.
No, I was just saying. I was talking about today. I just thought it was quite interesting. You brought up Trump straight away, so
it's because of the inauguration was happening. I've written a nice little rundown to talk about mugs, and you come in,
mate, with your all you want. It was top of mind. It was top of mind, and we're not going to get to it later on in the podcast. So I thought I'm going to get it now, and people have turned off, so that's fine.
So to Mr. Muscle, then straight on to Trump.
Mr. Chatterbox is what I'd be called right now, isn't it? Mr. Chatterbox. That should be mine. Well, I actually used to have a Mr. Man mug, but I can't remember what it was now. It was probably an insult to me.
Oh, it was, yeah. Well, this is clearly an insult, isn't it? Really, to me, Mr. Muscle.
I mean, it's a bit of a sarcastic one, isn't it?
It was. I'm pretty sure it's from my mum, so definitely sarcasm. Laden with.
I like a sense of humor. Very good.
She'll just be like, "Of course not. Big and strong, Tom. You're my son."
Did you watch the inauguration, by the way? Not that I'm going back to Trump again, but did you watch it all? Any of it?
Can't get him off it, can you? No.
Make America great again.
I will dabble in watching some of it later after. I just don't know. Unfortunately, Dan, I've been working, so I've had
life for a start.
I've had 6 one-to-one clients. I've just come off another podcast. I'm now on another podcast, and I'll probably have to do it. I don't know. Dan's already been on that podcast, so I was like, damn it.
Cheated.
I've been on. She was like, how many fucking episodes have you guys done? And I was like, according to Apple Podcasts, only about 300, 350. But we know we've done about 400 odd because I switched from SoundCloud to Podbean, and I can't remember what the thing was. I know we've had about 750,000 downloads. That's funny.
That's fucking mental, isn't
it? But I can't remember how many exact episodes. There's some that are probably lost. It's fine. What we said, the first 100 are fucking terrible. It's fine. We had people Steven Box. Who's that? Don't know.
Doesn't matter.
People, it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, everybody good came on after 100, right? That's when we found our voice. That's what I said on that show. I was like, we're still struggling to find our voice 400 in. Oh yeah. I don't know. Like, yeah, this because I was looking at my mug. Because I've started dieting, as you can see. I'm just lean. Look how big my shirt is. I could do one of those things
What are
anyway.
you dieting for?
I've got a wedding coming up, mate.
No, you've not mentioned it. That's why.
Got to be lean as fuck. I know there's a few people that came on Instagram and said, I mean, they never fucking message about the show or put it out there listening to it, but they came out and said, "Oh, congratulations, good job, good job." I think they just said congratulations.
Good job finding someone that actually finds you tolerable.
I know,
Good
right?
job. Yeah,
It's
that's what I think I remember saying the same thing to you. To be fair, so
that's right. Anyway. But that reminds me of the the Chatbix thing they were talking about. When they were like, "You found somebody that loves you," and I'm pretty. Are you confident? Are you confident that you could go to Laura, and if I went to Chloe, and I'm pretty confident you love me. It's so weird, right? Yeah. And then,
it's when he nearly got him to stand up and say it. And
yeah, he was like, "Go."
No.
He was like, "No, it's fucking weird." And it's like, it was a weird sensation of having friends as a grown up. You're like, "Do you like your friends?" Ooh, you like your friends, you weirdo. Would you say that? Do you? Yes, I like my friends. You fucking weirdo. Would you say that to them? Or mystery meetups. I want to do mystery meetups. That sounds great.
It doesn't sound great at all.
That's when me and you differ so much. It's insane.
No, this sounds great.
I'm mystery meetup. I like surprises. This is where me and Chloe do not get on. I like surprises. I like the puzzle of everything. She fucking hates it. Like she can't bear it when I do an Easter egg hunt.
Like, so now with surprises, like the funny one with me and Laura is that Laura likes the idea of a surprise, but would completely fuck it up in the interim where she'd need to find out and know stuff. So it's kind of like I know, for example, here's a good example. Like she would say to me things like, "Oh, it'd be nice if every so often you're romantic and surprise me with something." I'll start making efforts to plan something like that, and she will fuck up those plans by booking something on certain days, and then I'll say, "Well, okay, we can't do the surprise now because you booked that." And she was like, "Oh, you should have told me. Wouldn't have been a surprise then, would it? Like, wouldn't have been a surprise then." Like, it's just that thing. Like, I can't get over it. So I just don't bother trying to do those anymore. Maybe I should surprise you, Tom, instead. Maybe that's what I need to do. Start surprising you. Maybe that'll work.
I think when obviously I'll be moving flat in the next few months, and we'll have spare bedrooms finally. And
just turn up at the door.
I think you just turn up. Yeah, it'd be great. Okay. Then I'll just Skype off work and then we'll just go to golf. It'll be fun.
Play golf. Yeah, brilliant. I'm down for that. I'm totally down for that.
So yeah, she can't handle it. It's insane. But it got me the mug thing. Got me thinking about do you have mugs, the ones that you use in circulation? Do you have that like in terms of cutlery? So I've obviously used your stuff. You don't have a lot of mugs. That's weird about your household. You don't have a lot of fucking things to drink out of. That annoys me when I go to yours.
No, there is. There is a fair few. There's
no, it's not the abundance of I have. I have a whole.
No, maybe not the abundance you have. But I have two. I have two mugs that are identical, that are the same, that are really nice. They're Kinto mugs, a little bit pricey for a mug, but really nice. And I have two of them that I just rotate between for my coffees. Like I just have two, and if it's dirty, I wash it. Simple as that. And because they can't be put in the dishwasher, they're always available. Like I always clean them out and put them back in. Laura has three of her favorite teacups that she has. And I'm very particular, like my cups. I have certain cups for certain drinks. So like I've got my two ones that I have in rotation for my coffee, for either flat white or filter coffee. And then I have smaller cups that are for sharing coffee. If you make a big jug of coffee and you share it, they're slightly smaller cups because they're a little bit more dainty. And then if I have a hot chocolate or a cup of tea, it's out of a separate mug entirely. It's not from the same mug. But I don't have multiple. I have one mug for coffee, one mug for tea or hot chocolate. I don't need 20 mugs. I actually think there's a saying that goes, the more mugs you have in your life, the more of a mug you are. So that's where
It's not a
you're.
thing.
That's where you. Yeah, no, it is. That is a thing because now I know you have lots of mugs. It makes complete sense because I have very few mugs.
So this was an
In my
issue
life.
when me and Chloe first started dating as well. She had a singular cafetiere for one cup of coffee, and I was like, "This screams that you don't want me here." I'm like, the
Yeah.
first thing I did was buy a two-person cafetiere, and I was like, "Now I can
Yeah.
stay over and have coffee in the morning." And she
Yeah.
hated it,
For me,
hated the
coffee's a.
fact.
I think for me, coffee's such a big part of my hot drink selection menu, whatever you want to call it. Like it's just such a big part of it.
Yeah.
I have a lot of different cups for coffee stuff, and there's a lot of different instruments and stuff. So for me, I don't need lots of different mugs because I know what cup I want when I'm having coffee, and it's part of the process of it for
See,
me. So I can't just put it in any mug.
I know which mug I want, but I do. Okay, so I have favorite mugs, and then I have like these essentially novelty mugs. I have a lot of because it feels like people know I like Star Wars, and
Mm.
people know I like Southend United. The ones that are
Well, you
not.
tolerate Southend United. I think it's probably more the.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's like people buy it's such a normal, easy gift of like, all right, you like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings that like, and you get like one of those.
Mm.
Because I have Le Creuset mugs, which are lovely.
Of course you do.
So me and Chloe have a lot of like Le Creuset stuff. And it's all really nice and good quality. Those are my default ones that I use, but once they're used up, and it's like, all right, I'll need to wash them. But I just counted. I have 22 different mugs.
That's insane.
How
That is bad.
many?
I see.
Google. How many mugs should a person own? Is that a thing?
How many mugs should I own? Why have people search this? How many mugs does one family need? How much? Oh my God. Right, you're fucked. How many mugs should one person have? A general rule of thumb is 2 types of cups per person, e.g., 2 drinking glasses, 2 water bottles, 2 coffee mugs. This way they can be in the dishwasher and you still have another one. Correct. I would go along with that. I believe that we have an all right amount of mugs that's needed. If people come over, it's a normal amount. 22 for one person. Insane. Like, I think that's ridiculous, man.
I would
mean,
struggle with, and I feel like this is really odd. I would struggle to get that down to 10.
behave, man. Come on.
I think I
You're
could get it down
proper
to.
British, you are.
I think I could. I want to keep all my Le Creuset ones because they're nice.
Mate, Cruise is so no, come on. I'm gonna send you the Kinto website and you can have a look at
And
Kinto
then
stuff.
I
Because
have
you
like
need
one that was
Cruise is
brought
too
back from
basic.
New
for you, man.
Zealand. One was brought back from New Zealand on the Lord of the Rings set, so I'm that's staying. That's for like hot chocolates. It's a good hot
I might
chocolate
send this to
mug.
Chloe instead rather than you because she's got kids.
But she owned a crockery company. Surely she's going to be like she should know more than me.
Yeah, I bet you she doesn't have 22 fucking mugs, half
No,
of
she
novelty.
doesn't. She
No,
doesn't.
I
She has a
bet.
lot of novelty mugs now that I'm in her life. Like the ones that are like on Gogglebox. Massive fuckers that you can't drink out of. How interesting. Yeah, a lot of
Um,
mugs. I have to do a mug cull then soon.
yeah, you must have seen some of these the mugs in my house.
Oh yeah, I've seen yours, but I think I've
Oh,
been
that's a nice one.
slightly annoyed at yours previously because there wasn't enough hot beverage vehicles for me to use.
Come on.
I
Now you're
was
just
like,
talking
oh,
daft.
I've got to wash this up. And you're ruining the planet by singularly washing stuff up instead of using your dishwasher, which is more
Yeah.
environmentally friendly and cheaper.
Right. I also have this question with people. Okay. How fucking dirty are you making your mugs that you can't just rinse it in a bit of cold water? Like, it doesn't need to be like, I don't need to sit there with a running tap on hot water, mate. I literally just go under the tap,
Sounds like it.
wipe it a little bit of soap on it if needed, which it doesn't ever need, and I put it back. Sweet. I'm the only one that uses it. It's my mug, my thing with hot water all over it. I put hot coffee into it. It's killing all the bacteria. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Honestly, don't stay up at night thinking about it. But I think your mug problem is getting out of hand. And I think that when when the time comes for you and Chloe to move in, she's going to throw half of them away, and you're going to be devastated, and she's going to be the one in the right. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm on her side when she smashes up 11 of them. You deserve it. All right, just remember that.
Sure.
Obscene, because I bet as well a good chunk of those 22 are those basic, like the one you've got there, basic white mug with just a bit of like a picture on it, and it's just like the crappy normal handle, exactly like that. Like, oh my god, like I hate those types of mugs. I'm not a snob with many things, but I am with that. That is awful. I want the sort of cup. I want the sort of cup at home that I wouldn't mind being served in a coffee shop for my coffee. Those are the cups that I've got. They're the mugs that I've got. Is that they look classy, they look decent. I got actually annoyed the other day because I actually have 4 of them and I keep 2 of them in storage, brand new, so that when the other 2 get broken, I can bring them out in rotation, right?
Oh, that's
and I got annoyed the
weird.
other
That's
day.
weird.
No, because I got annoyed the other day because Mike stayed over and one of them had a slight crack in it, but it hadn't chipped. And then he must have washed it up or been nice, and then it's obviously like he accidentally chipped it because he's the only one in the house that, or Laura might have done it. But it had a chip and I had to throw it away, and I got devastated, and I've only got 3 of them. So I do need to replace one.
Wow. Does Mike know about that? That you've thrown it away?
Does he know that I know? I don't know. It might have been him, but it might have been Laura as well. To be fair, like could easily have been Laura as well. But yeah, but Laura would have just chucked it away anyway, I think, or told me. But yeah, it's fine. It's not a problem. But my view of that is that my mugs would not look out of place served in a really high end coffee shop. If someone charged you £6 for a flat white and it was served in my cups, you go, yep, about right. If I got charged anywhere more than 20p for a hot drink with the mug that you've got there, I'd be infuriated. Put it that way.
Well, speaking about that, that's pretty much the quality of Southend United.
Yeah.
The executive box. This is the kind of crockery that I got served. That was an experience. It was fun though. Take the old men.
I bet you got Kenko instant coffee in a cup. You're told just to deal with it, yeah. But
deal with that, crack on. It was barely that, like walking around with like the massive like containers, tea or coffee, and it's like I went tea because I was like, I don't think the coffee may be up to the standard I want. I'm gonna.
Ever.
I was like,
have you anywhere close?
Have you got an AeroPress? No, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, is this single origin from Kenya?
How did it go through? So yeah, I went with tea. It was very much. It was quite funny because we were in the captain's suite, and yeah, it cost me a good £90 per person. So I paid out £360 to take my dad, my uncle, and his cousin
to watch Southend United.
Well, they've got season tickets already, so they were like, "Oh, that's where we normally sit over there." Quite funny. And then obviously we were sat behind the players and the manager and stuff. It was quite fun. It was quite cute. The lunch and stuff was school dinners-esque, if I'm honest. It was all very polite and nice. There was a quiz, so that was fun. All that fun. Dude, I love a quiz, mate. Love a quiz. Biggest shows on TV, quizzes.
Are they?
And because they're cheap to make. Yeah,
I bet they are. Yeah,
they're really cheap to make, and you can sell them to lots of territories, and yeah, easiest things to do on TV. That's why they're just absolutely filled with them. Saturdays and like Friday nights and stuff.
Must be something in the human mind that needs to watch a quiz as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't watch it. I'm not that fussed by them. But there must be something. If you're saying that, there must be something about them that humans like.
Yeah, massive, absolutely massive. Like when we were younger, like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was fucking huge, right? Everybody tuned into that. Big time. The guy that was Major, whatever his name is. Remember the guy
that got caught cheating?
Caught cheating, yeah. I've worn my hat so much lately because I'm getting a haircut on Thursday. But like my hair is mental.
Just like me, I need a haircut.
You do.
Nothing there.
My beard's fine, there. But yeah, beard's fine, but we're all good. All right. Apparently we didn't talk about fitness or something.
We don't have to.
Well, I feel like I've talked fitness for go listen to the show with Laura. I did a whole hour on being athletic and all that kind of stuff. Slightly more insightful. But you wanted to talk vaguely about expectations. Expectations as an online coach. I didn't tune into Dan's live talk because unfortunately, middle of
You
the
don't
day
care
is
enough.
not middle of the day is not a great time for me to do a call because I'm working.
Yeah, you slacker. Tending to be working. Yeah, no, we just did a bit of a call in the members group about like what to expect going into the year, and I kind of like off the back of it, I wrote an email as well, kind of like discussing, and I think I posted a story about it today as well, discussing kind of like the working attitude of people and like their approach to business, their approach to certain things. And one of the concepts that kind of like Mike came up with and talked about was it's almost like having two voices in your head, and when you're self-employed, you need to have like a boss voice and an employee voice. And I think sometimes when you're an employee of working in a business or a company or whatever, we've all had those jobs, right, where we've worked as an employee and we've had to do tasks that we hate. We've had managers we don't like. We've had to deal with customers we're not 100%, sure of, and we just basically probably went into work hating the fact we had to go into work and not looking forward to the day, and ultimately doing tasks that we had to do because we got paid for it, and that was our kind of job. And I think that sometimes people don't carry over that attitude into being when they're self-employed, and kind of the point that I talked about on the email was we still have to pretend we've got a boss, only it's ourselves, and we have to talk to ourselves as if we're our boss. And like there are certain non-negotiables that just have to be done. There are certain tasks that just have to be done, no matter how much we enjoy them or don't enjoy them. And I think that every person who's self-employed will tell you that every single day they do shit they don't want to do. And every single day they do tasks that they're not very good at, but they have to grind through and do anyway. And they have to deal with people that they don't really want to deal with. But they have to do it to kind of make a living and to push forward. And like if we just took the employee route of just basically wanting to not do as much work and just taking time off and just living for the weekend and just trying to do the bare minimum, I just don't think you're going to get very far as an online coach. And it was just this expectation that coaches seem to have, that they're going to love every minute and they're going to love everything they do and they're going to, love every client they work with and they're going to love every piece of content that they make and all this. And it was just like, the reality is that you're probably going to have to do more of the shit you don't like than you did when you're an employee of a business. And you're going to have to find the motivation, or not even the motivation, but just the fucking discipline to just do it regardless. And kind of the email I wrote was kind of breaking it down and saying like, look, all the successful people that you look up to that are online coaches, but not only online coaches, have successful businesses. They just do that shit. And it's funny because I saw a post by Elon Musk not long ago, and he basically said how being a CEO is the worst job in any business. He said because all you do all day is face all the problems. He's like, you don't see any of the good stuff. You're just, all you do is you get all the problems filtered to the top, that the biggest problems that are facing the biggest issues in the business that you've got to fix. And I don't think online coaches are ready for that in their business. I just genuinely don't think they think that that's something they're going to have to deal with or put up with, but it is. And yeah, the point of the call was that people expect to post a couple of times on Instagram, take loads of time off, fuck around, like not have to do any of the work they don't really want to do, and expect like a business out of it. And it's just kind of like a bit stupid to expect that to happen when you're a part of a business, you had to do shit you didn't enjoy and you had and that you hated, and you did it then, but you're not going to do it now for your own business. It seems a little bit off. And sure, you have days, right, where you don't want to go to work. You have days where you can't be asked to go in and do stuff. You have days where you can't be bothered, but you do it. You do it anyway. Because it's for your business, and you have to. And I just think it's sometimes that mindset, I think, is important when you're self-employed. Yeah, I think that just doesn't get talked about ever.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I know it sounds awful to say as a coach and stuff like that. And we've both talked about it in terms of why you've gone to calls, right? Check-ins.
Yeah.
Can sometimes be pretty grinding. And it's more check-ins have a very start and stop when you're going through them. That's why I think it's not like deep work, where I think me and you are similar, where if we get into something and it's going to take us like 2 hours, once we're into something, it's like, oh, cool. I'm liking kind of, so we were just talking really fun chat about like I'm revamping a bunch of like Excel spreadsheets and stuff like and creating dashboards and stuff like that. Once I'm into it, and I want to do as much as possible and what I can complete. But like getting into it is a big thing. But like the check-in's got that start and stop portion. I struggle with that sometimes, 100%. Because I'm like, all right, I'll do 3 and then I'll make a coffee. Then I'll do 2 more and then I'll play on my phone. And then I'm like, that procrastination is something that I loathe. And I'm like, all right, it's probably when I feel, even though it's in theory in the business, the most productive day, in theory, it's good tendering to that. It's the one I feel least productive. Weird one, isn't it? Stuff like that. Content, it's fine. All that just picking apart the online coach part, like in terms of personal training as well. Like literally in the gym, one-to-one client stuff is fine, but there's obviously days that you're like, fucking hell, I don't want to be.
I think with the one-to-one clients is different because the accountability is there to do this. You've got to turn up, and I think that I've said this to a couple of coaches in the last couple of weeks. Is that I've said to them that they need to make sure that they view themselves as a content creator and that their priority out of everything in the business, their priority needs to be their content, not their clients. And they were like, look at me and say, oh my God, I can't believe you say that. Like you bang on about how your clients should be a priority. And I'm like, as far as you're concerned in your head, your content is the priority, as it should be the only thing you do. When you wake up, the first thing you need to do is your content. The first thing you need to do is to box off content creation, content ideation, content writing, whatever it is. It's like, you need to do that the first thing you do of all the day. And then I get the intuition, well, why? Surely my client work's really important. I said, would you go to sleep with any of your client check-ins not replied to? No, of course not. Right. Would you go to sleep having not done any content that day? Yes. Right. Therefore, I don't care how long the content takes you, even if it takes you 4 fucking hours and you're well behind on your client check-ins, you'll do your check-ins till 8 p.m. because your clients are your priority. Right? Yeah. You will not let them down. There's the accountability to do it. Whereas there's no accountability when you get to 5 p.m., you've done all your check-ins to do any type of content. And you go, oh, I'm tired now, I'm a bit too much. Whereas if you had a client check-in to do at 7 p.m., you won't go, I'm too tired, I'll leave it till tomorrow. You do it because that's your priority, because your priority are your clients and there's the accountability to do it. And I think that's something that people need to think about when it comes to their business is the tasks that have accountability associated with them. Don't worry about putting them off till later on in the day, because it'll be fine. Now, I do my calls later on in the day because of the time difference. So I'm lucky that I can do my content in the morning and stuff like that. And then I have all my calls later on. But like you just alluded to, the reason I moved to calls was because I was like, nope, do you know what? I want to finish at 7:30, between 7:30 most evenings with my calls. Whereas when I was doing check-ins, I would procrastinate. I would pretend I'll do some content. I'd pretend I'd do this. And I'd actually be doing my videos till maybe 8, half 8 at night. And I was like, I hate this. I hate working this late. How can I get around this problem? I know. Make it so that I can't miss this and I can't procrastinate with it. And I think coaches need to do the same thing with the things that they find hard in their business, do it at the start of the day, because the majority of them are happy to jump into check-ins. Oh, I'm happy to do that. Get them all done by 3 p.m. Feel like I'm done the day. And they don't do their content very well. Because I think it was all the way around. I think there'd be a little bit more urgency to make sure they did the content bit right with that. So that's the one thing that, again, we talked about. So, the accountability of tasks is really important.
Yeah, I can put it down to because something, even though everybody's loathsome in terms of program writing. I do my program writing on a Saturday morning. And it is my thing I have to do before I'm allowed out to enjoy my weekend, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm like this, and insinuating circumstances, I might do it on a Friday evening because, like, all right, I'm out and about on a Saturday. I can't get around it. So therefore it has to be done on Friday. And it's like one of those things that has to be done, right? But obviously it's accountable to the client, but it's like I will put that as the gatekeeping to something of enjoyment or whatever, blah blah blah. But it's also the accountability thing. Yeah, the client has to have the fucking program, but you want to keep in front of a lot of stuff. That's obviously a loathsome job. I think it's every coach has certain things they're just like, oh, I wish this wasn't part of the job or like part of whatever, right? Because I think we've talked about it before. If we were just to leave like coaching, stuff like that, we'd just go and make like golf content or something like that. But we'd keep the content side. I think we both enjoy making content, all that kind of stuff, and being in front of camera and playing up and stuff like that, just dicking around. Maybe because we understand it vaguely, but it's all the, I don't know, it's interesting. I guess it's because it's newer into our careers as well. We've been coaching for a long time, and it's like challenge and stuff like that. And yeah, we have a very systemized approach to kind of getting results with people. We know we will get results with people because that's what we do. So yeah, super interesting. I like the way of putting that in front of. I've never really thought about it that way in terms of like do that because yeah, people will be like, oh, I'll finish that piece of content tomorrow, or like that. I'll post that tomorrow. I won't post anything today. That'd be fine. But if you got it done earlier, then you feel a little bit more. And then yeah, the panic sets in of like, shit, I need to respond to this person, otherwise they're going to leave or like not pay me any money for this month or blah blah blah. So yeah, interesting, Daniel.
Yeah, I just think it's because you wouldn't leave your clients, without a check-in. I think it's just using that to your advantage. I know I always feel better when I've done my content early on in the day, always.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that everyone should try and run with.
I think it's like when people work out at the start of the day, right? They're like, get the worst thing out of the way.
Literally. And it's usually most coaches' content, to be fair, unfortunately.
What? Their content is the worst thing.
Yeah, that's the worst thing of their day. Usually, is that coaches don't like it, they don't enjoy it, and they put it off and put it off, put it off. That's the problem. But yeah, just something to consider anyway. For people.
In it, mate.
In it, mate. Yeah. Can we talk about Trump now? No, not I'm joking.
I think we're trying to
nothing to talk about.
Refrain. Are we going to refrain from talking about Trump?
We have to talk about him sooner or later, mate. He's going to take over the world, so needs to be talked about sooner or later. No, it doesn't really. I was just joking. But no, I think we see it also, by the way, in like fitness all the time. Oh, I quite like the way people do that. Oh, I quite like the way CrossFitters program stuff. Oh my God, you love CrossFit? No. Just think the way they do things in the community is quite good. And then you just fucking on that journey of just like, oh my God, like people just are so quick to just label you with stuff. Like you're the athletic guy now.
Well, yeah, literally that's what obviously I went on that podcast for. Like bringing you on, talk about athletic training. And like the interesting question was, what in your definition makes someone athletic? What would you say to that? It's interesting, right?
What by my definition makes someone athletic? I think it's the ability to perform a multitude of movements and a multitude of athletic disciplines to a half decent level. Like if someone's athletic, I think something like speed, power, endurance, conditioning, like all like they wouldn't be like again a powerlifter or a marathon runner. It'd be like a mixture of all those things. I think
that's pretty much what I went with because I was like, look, I have categories of what I test for: strength, power, strength endurance, and energy system development.
Yeah.
Those are my four kind of cornerstones of all my athletic-based movements. I was like, I think people should have a good amount of each of those.
Yeah.
And then that makes them more athletic. And then it was one thing that I actually talked to Clara about and was like, I want you to, when she switched over from bodybuilding, I want you to be 12 weeks from anything you want to do.
Yeah.
If we go, cool, we're going to have such a base across all different platforms of like great strength. I think we could train for 12 weeks and we could enter a powerlifting competition. We could train for 12 weeks and we could enter a Hyrox. We can train for 12 weeks and I think you'll complete to a decent standard a marathon. And like have that base of that you can turn to something and be pretty fucking good at it was my kind of definition.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way of looking at it.
My ethos in terms of like training, not just go down a rabbit hole and spend so much time down there that you kind of lose what you can do, especially from like a social aspect or like a confidence aspect of being able to do lots of things and having to say, no, I don't know how to do that, or I don't think I'll be able to. Laura was honest. She was honest. She was like, she moved back to Bristol, I think. And then she decided to go like with some people to a run club. And she was like, yeah, I couldn't run for 5 minutes. I had to stop. I was like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we should be able to do. Yeah, we should be able to perhaps run for 20, 30 minutes non-stop. Okay. And be okay with that. And she was like, yeah. I would be immensely judgmental of the people doing other stuff in the gym, because obviously she was all about physique, right? And it's like, yeah, and realize, ask yourself, why are they doing that, or stuff like that. I think that's a big thing. It's kind of like, I looked at something. I was talking about, somebody was doing like CPAP exams and stuff, and like in the gym that I was at, so VO2 max stuff, respiratory testing, and it kind of got me going on the other end of the spectrum of what would I test if I had no budget. So nothing, which is a lot of the stuff that I thought. So I wrote a little list of the 4 things I would just do. I would do lower body power, so I'd probably do a broad jump. All you need is a tape measure. That's it. I would do speed and acceleration. All you need is essentially a stopwatch. 10 meters, track, maybe, grass, fucking somewhere, pavement. I would do maximal strength, because people in the gym, I'm assuming they can test something. So barbell. And then I would do maximal aerobic speed. So I think I'm beating on about that at the moment, because it's one of the things that's annoyed me, and I'm making a conscious effort for a lot of people to do it, because I've never see it anywhere in any Hyrox based things, anybody's maximum aerobic speed scores, and it has a massive, like, in terms of their conditioning, a massive like rollover into certain things, and probably people who have better VO2s will do it, and it's the maximum aerobic speed is the lowest amount of like threshold for your VO2 to be working. Interesting. So maximum aerobic speed, all you need is like you can do running on 1500 meters, crack on, if you want to do that, or just like an assault bike or something like that. Those 4 things, Dan, I would encourage the coaches on this who are listening to test their clients, especially you've got an excuse to in January, to be like, new year, let's see what we can do, and then revisit it. Are those 4 things. And if you're like, oh, I'm not going to make them sprint, fine. Just do 2 maximal strength, do a lower body power, and then a maximal aerobic speed thing.
I think coaches would be surprised how many of their clients would actually respond well to testing, though. I think they say things like, oh, no one wants to do that. And I'm like, have you ever asked them? Have you ever done it with them? Have you ever? Because I think as humans, we do want that desire to be better than we were. So I know, for example, the golf stuff, I do, like, I say tests all the time, but you challenge yourself to different things, different like length putts, certain amount of them from different angles, different places, and you test and you repeat and you go, am I improving? And that's how you can tell. And I think as people, we always want to be on a road to improvement. And I just think that a lot of coaches run out of ideas when it's like, well, the fat loss is done. What's next? It's like, well, you're clueless now. You can't help anyone. Whereas when you start looking at testing, it's like, well, I can tell you you're stronger, faster, bigger, but without worrying about scale weight or how many calories you're on. And I think that coaches don't have a lot of tools in the toolbox for improvement. And we talk about it regularly with people, like, how do you show the social proof of someone who's in an off season, or whatever they call it these days, in terms of like not dieting, right? And these are the words that get thrown around. And I'm like, well, do you even coach athletes? No, I just call it off season or bulking. It's like, okay, right. Is that the only option available to them? It's like, no, like, you can show someone getting physically fitter, stronger, quicker. Like, you can show that very easily on social proof. That looks cool, looks good. People want that. People want to be that person.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I don't think a lot of coaches have the ability maybe to look at that or to focus on it. But I actually think the majority of them just assume their clients don't want to do it, and they don't want to go through the rigmarole of trying to do it. So they pretend like they don't want to do it. But like you just said there, it's not even like there's a budget issue or like an ability thing. It's like you've got all the ability to do those things.
It's like those things are simple, like really fucking simple things to do. And you'd be like, yeah, why not? Why not make them do it? And just be, it's that kind of like, oh, but people don't like change, that kind of thing. Like, this is a positive change. 100% positive. It's like more tracking, more data, and allows you to make better
You know what they do
decisions.
want, though, is that they do want to know that they're on the right track and they want to improve. So you say people don't like change. It's like us, like, again, come back to golf all the time. I like changing my golf swing if it's going to make me a better golfer.
Yeah.
Don't say I don't like that. I do want to change. Like, there's elements I do want to do. If it makes me better, and you tell me in 6 months it makes me better, I'll do it.
If you're
I
like,
just
all
think
right, we need
that,
to, we need to test this, Dan. We need to test your dispersion of your pitching wedge.
yeah,
All right, we've got
literally.
to do that to make you hit more greens.
Literally,
Cool.
like I need that. Like if my coach said do more testing stuff, great. I love that. I just and I think with coaches, they often say things like, I'm not attracting the right type of client. I tell you what are the best types of clients is like people like me and you who like testing, who like to know where we're at and will put the effort in and will put the time in. There you go. There's a good example of like the type of client you want. Well, how about someone who's data driven, who will be self motivated to improve and do these things?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just think there's a lot of assumptions being made by coaches, right, with that sort of thing.
100%. Yeah. I just think there's a lot of people, they'll make excuses of like not having the correct environment, and the research doesn't say to do that, or you have to replicate it exactly the same day on that and through that. I'm like, fucking bullshit. You're not running a research methods like class. It's like, fine, it's PT. There's so much scope for kind of stuff not going correctly. You're fine. Just do it.
And also, people are coming to you in a fairly unconditioned state that the variables won't matter. If they've improved, they'll have improved, and you'll see it. It doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, it's fine. Try. It's
It's not the
absolutely
NFL
fine.
Combine. Fuck me. Like,
Yeah, it's like you can peak them for it, but maybe like just tell them on the week before, like, can you try and not like have a few beers the night before that next session?
yeah,
I literally actually had to tell like one of my clients that this week. Like, I was like, by the way, you've got heavy fucking like deadlifts to threes on Thursday. Try not to do anything Wednesday
maybe
night
not.
that's going to be that's going to impact that. And he was like, cool, fine, absolutely fine.
Literally.
Yeah, so funny. All right, with that, Daniel, I think we'll close off.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I think
Close it
so.
off.
Bored of you now. I've been podcasting for nearly 2 hours today, so
I was about to say you must be gone, mate. Yeah.
uh, not as bad as
Don't blame
calls
you.
in it. It's fine. Just yeah, no, talking for what I have like
All about the
eight,
Zoom, mate.
eight, 8 hours, 8 hours of talking.
8 hours of talking. Yeah, you'll be broken, man. You're
Mm.
broken, man. Go get yourself some nice hot drink, mate, in one of your daft mugs. Right, go on. Yeah, go get another one. Go fucking get a hot chocolate. Chill out.
No, I'm dieting. Can't have hot chocolate.
You can have
Can't have
10 calorie hot chocolate. You know, it doesn't taste very nice, but you can have them.
it. I'll
Little
save that
options
for
one.
when I'm watching the Champions League.
Oh, is that tonight? Well, obviously won't be staying
No,
up to watch it, but yeah.
You're not going to stay up and watch Liverpool Lille at
No,
2 a.m. for
surprisingly.
you?
Not fussed, mate. Not fussed in the slightest. You can
Well,
enjoy it though.
I will. Thank you. I need the toilet though now.
Just make sure that Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Cody Gakpo don't get injured for me. All right.
All right.
That'd be
I'll put
great.
a note out.
They're my fantasy team. So
I reckon it's going to be a B squad out tonight because they're basically already qualified. So.
yeah, probably.
Right. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week.
See you there.